Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster can be seen as a parody from people outside of, I guess you would say, the organization or the congregation. There are two branches or two sects of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, like our religions. There are the evangelical or literal interpretations of the gospel, and the road that I choose to follow, along with thousands of other people, is the more political or metaphorical look at it. So if other religious ideals can be used in the biology classrooms, then it should be an even playing field, and all the other religions in the world and all the other perspectives should be taught as a creation as well. So, you see in Kansas State especially that they teach Genesis as a form of creation, and it's the counterpart to evolution, the evolutionary theory in the schools. It was actually created as a form of satire because Kansas State and many other states don't really acknowledge a secular movement or atheists or agnostics as a form of a religious teaching. So what was done was Bobby Henderson created stories and gospels so it can almost be in a level playing field with all the other popular religions. So if they would consider it as a joke, I would consider them as sort of disrespectful, just because it isn't popular by media or popular by chosen faith. So I would see it in this sense as well. If my family grew up in classical Greece, if I choose to believe in Himalayan Thor, then I do, and nobody can really sort of count me out on that. And if I was born in Central Africa, then I choose to believe in the Great Juju of the Mountain. If I were from India and I choose to believe in Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita, then I can't really be singled out for that as well. But I don't know if you guys heard the stories that happened in the Czech Republic, and it was an Austrian man who attempted to do the same thing, and he was admitted into the mental institution for 3 months. It took him over 3 years to actually get the driver's license photo, and what was such a big milestone about it was that not only was he able to get the photograph with the pasta strainer on his head, but he was also able to allow the country to recognize the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster as a credible religion. So that in a sense is a huge milestone for seculars and atheists and people that are trying to advocate this entire following against the Kansas State Board. So when it became a story in BBC, and it was sort of interpreted over here as I don't want to say, I guess I would say what you're saying, a civil rights movement. And there was someone in New Jersey who attempted to do this same thing, and he was actually put in handcuffs at the DMV and asked to basically leave, but he was basically thrown in jail. And someone in Illinois attempted to do the exact same thing. So when I first read these stories, I sort of wanted to do it a more logical and reasonable way without placing myself into trouble or being able to be placed into a mental asylum. So what I did was contact state DPS, and I was able to download a 58 page manual on just alone the religious headwear that is able to be worn on DPS photos. So in the state of Texas specifically, as long as it doesn't cover your face and as long as it's for health reasons, you can wear religious headwear. So once I got confirmation from state DPS, I was able to have them verify with local DPS to let me actually take this photo. And when I went to local DPS initially, they told me that I had to have a cover letter signed by a congressional leader with letterhead, and they just sort of made me go through loops and jump through rings of fire and stuff like that to actually get this photo taken. But sort of the state kind of triumphs over the local DPS. So when I went in there, I really didn't have a problem. It was actually sort of like VIP treatment. We went up to her, she allowed me to skip everyone, she allowed me to take the photo, and that's it. It's kind of a metaphor. It kind of is a symbol that ties into the Flying Spaghetti Monster. What other form of headwear would you wear to represent the Flying Spaghetti Monster?